Alright, welcome everybody. This is Tyler, aka Tafarish Gaming, and I am sitting here today with Daniel Berg, aka Phumes, who is a Firefall player who was recently in the Vex Gaming Legacy Firefall tournament. Say hello, Phumes.
What's up, guys?
So let's just jump right into it. How long have you been playing Firefall?
I've been playing for about 2 months now, PvPing for about a month and a half, and I'm really liking it so far. So.
Awesome. What are some of your favorite features in the game?
I really like the customization that you can have with the battle frames and stuff, and I think it's going to lead to a lot of dynamic play in PvP in the future. And so I'm really hoping that when they do the split and they have set loadouts, that they still allow customization, because I think that's a big thing and like a big attraction right now.
Okay, well that actually kind of half answered my next question, which was what do you think about the coming changes that the devs have in order in reference to the separation of PvE and PvE? Do you think, because when I was talking to Cool Matt, who is the leader of Hubris, he was talking about how they were saying that they might have like preset loadouts. Do you think that would work, or do you think that just needs to be outright? Like, you need to either have full customization or it's just not going to work? What would you say?
No, I think they're bouncing back between two extremes right now. It's obviously a step in the right direction to standardize things like that and not allow the sort of freestyle printing that we have right now. But I think they should have like a pool of set abilities and stuff for each frame rather than just setting that by the devs themselves. I don't know. It doesn't sit right, and it doesn't feel like it would be fun, and it would end up being boring eventually, and yeah, I don't know.
Right on. I mean, have you ever played Guild Wars 2?
I have not, actually, so.
Oh, okay. Well, for people who have, I like to kind of push that sense of competitive PvP in the sense that there's a separate, excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. There's a separate instanced area in the game called the Mists, and when you go into the Mists, your character is automatically granted max level, which obviously doesn't apply to Firefall since linear level progression doesn't exist. But in the sense of Firefall, you would essentially be given a fully filled tech tree. And in Guild Wars 2, what it does is it gives you access to every piece of top level gear, all your abilities, all the runes and you know, anything that you would need to customize your character. So when you're in that zone and where you're doing any kind of organized PvP, you have, you know, a loadout that's exactly what you want as a player, using the best of everything available. And I think that that's something that they should adopt in Firefall, because if you could go in, you know, if you could choose, let's say I want to play tier 3, so you go into tier 3 and then you have however much time you want to set up your tier 3 tech tree and your gear and all of that, and then go ahead and queue for PvP. I think that would be a good addition to the game. But we'll see what the developers do. If you were a developer for the game, what major changes, if any, would you make to the game?
That's tough. I'm not really a game developer, but let's see. I don't want to touch on balance, but I think air movement is pretty slow right now, and you end up just floating, and it gives you an easy target like 90% of the time. Right. So I'd rather like to see a faster paced air movement. That would be pretty cool. Okay,
fair enough. Do you think that Firefall will stand out strong as a PvE MMO, or will its potential success occur mostly through esports and PvP?
I think what they're trying to do is draw a large player base through the PvE and then try to get them into PvPing later on, and they're trying to make that like an attractive prospect. But I think PvP is where the game's really going to be popular and sort of have a stick with the esports and everything. So
Right. I agree. So I'm going to go off script a little bit and So when you were playing in the Vex Gaming Legacy Tournament this past weekend, you were playing for the team PvEsports, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
How did they, before the interview, Daniel told me that this was his first time around in the esports venue. So how did this team contact you, or did you contact them? How did that work? How did they choose you?
Your dad was looking for players and stuff. It was made a stream actually, in the stream chat and stuff. And I'd also messaged Alonda about it a whiles back. I'm not actually sure which time it was that they saw and decided to contact me because of it. But yeah, they were just looking for players publicly, and so yeah.
Right on. Did they make you go through like a trial process or anything, or did they just say, okay, we're going to take you? I mean, what did you do to set yourself apart from anyone who was like, pick me?
Nothing really. I guess they might have just seen me in pub games or something and say, okay, he's a decent player. We need people right now. Because it was like the 31st or whatever. It was a day before the cutoff date or something. And so they were probably in a rush.
Okay. The last time I saw you guys playing, I believe it was a 3-match game against the Dark Hour. Did you guys win that? Or?
We lost that series 1-2.
So are you guys out? You're not going to be playing this coming weekend?
We've been moved down to the losers bracket, and we're playing against the Vex team next.
Oh, okay. All right. Awesome. Good luck for that. Have there been any updates on when that tournament is going to get back up?
Not from what I've heard, no. I think they're just trying to move it to this weekend and see when the casters are available and the players as well. So.
Okay. Right on. So I noticed after the tournament, when you and I were playing on live servers, that you were playing Recon, and I thought that you were an Assault player from what I saw in the tournament and from what I've seen playing with you in random pug matches before that. Do you prefer one over the other, or is there any particular reason you've been messing around with Recon?
No, not really. And I try to play like all the classes and stuff. I try to at least. But I primarily play Biotech and Assault. But Recon's really fun. Engineer is really fun, although I'm not that good at Engineer quite yet. And I haven't really played around with Dreadnought. I haven't been in the game long enough to max all those frames out. So.
Right. Okay. Earlier you mentioned something about not wanting to touch on balance, but I was going to ask, do you find the battle frame system to be balanced or shaky, and what changes would you make to frame balance if you could?
Well, I'm going to echo what Sully said, in that like Afterburner is extremely strong. It provides so much movement. I think if they just toned it down a little bit, like at tier 1, it's fine because the Afterburner it's just a short distance, but when you get to printing it, you can fly like 3/4 across the entire distance of any map, and it's just insane. Afterburner is the really big thing. That's about all I can think of. I can't think of anything else too far.
Right. I did notice that there's a stronger Dreadnought presence in the pugs as of late, and they've kind of been giving me. I feel like their health is just like out of control, because I was trying to be a very strong Recon player, but I realized that I just don't have the headshotting ability to suffice. So I've been a pretty dedicated Assault player as of late, and it's taking a lot to get Dreadnoughts down. But that's neither here nor there. Do you think that Firefall will be a successful MMO, and why?
I do, yeah. I think once it gets out of beta and more people start playing it, the popularity will increase. Because from what I've seen, I've invited a few friends to the game, and everybody that I've known has really, really liked the gameplay, PvE style and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I think once it gets released and once they add more content and more, like, to keep players around more, that it'll be really big.
All right, right on. Well, is there anything that you would like to add before we go?
Nothing really. I don't have anything to plug because I'm not really a big gamer.
Right on. That's fine. I appreciate your time, Daniel. We loved having you here, and hopefully we, as the game continues on and we start, having release and stuff, I'll be doing more interviews, and I'd love to have you back.
Sure thing. Thanks for having me.
No problem.